U.S. has hit new sanctions on Venezuela's government. Sanctions have been imposed on 4 Venezuelan state governors allied with President Nicolas Maduro. Any assets they control in the U.S. have been blocked. The U.S. has also taken its pressure campaign to the UN Security Council. It has asked that UN discusses the situation in Venezuela. These sanctions were announced in Bogota as the U.S. Vice President Mike Pence and opposition leader Juan Guaido met the Lima Group. U.S. Vice President Mike Pence has said that the U.S. should stand by Guaido until freedom was restored to the people of Venezuela. He has called for all Lima Group nations to immediately freeze PDVSA's assets. He has asked them to transfer ownership of Venezuelan assets in their countries from Maduro to Guaido's government. In waiting, meanwhile, Guaido said that the destruction of humanitarian aid on the Colombian border showed that the world what's it like living under the rule of President Nicolas Maduro. Lima Group, which includes Latin American countries and Canada, has demanded the immediate exit of Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. It will promote the recognition of Juan Guaido as Venezuela's leader. The group has also urged the International Criminal Court to declare Maduro's refusal to allow in humanitarian aid a crime against humanity. Germany has sought more pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The country wants fresh, free and democratic elections to be held in Venezuela. For greater pressure to be applied to bring about fresh elections in Venezuela, Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria alBashir said that Germany was consulting with other European countries. She said that Germany would seek to have additional EU sanctions imposed on Venezuela. Germany has also condemned the violence on the border. U.S. President Donald Trump said that U.S. and China are very, very close to a deal. He said the relationship between the two countries was great, adding that he is very optimistic of a deal, but may or may not happen. Trump spoke to the U.S. governors about this a day after he announced a delay in U.S. tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports. Trump said he is planned to meet with Xi at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida soon. U.S. President Donald Trump has left for Vietnam for his second historic summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Shortly before his departure, he said that he expected a tremendous summit with Kim. He said he will push for denuclearization on the Korean peninsula, but there was no rush. Trump and Kim met for the first historic summit in Singapore 8 months ago. The UN has urged US and Russia to preserve the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres asked the two countries to extend the new treaty before it expires in 2021. He added that losing INF would make the world insecure and unstable. The world cannot afford to return to unrestrained nuclear competition. Guterres also said he hoped a US-North Korean nuclear summit this week would produce real progress. The UN has described the conflict in Yemen as the world's worst humanitarian crisis. The body has said that 80% of the population is now in need of humanitarian assistance, and about $4 billion is needed to fund this assistance in the war-torn country. Mark Lowcock, the UN Humanitarian Affairs Chief, said that by the end of 2018, UN was feeding 10 million people a month. The relief operations have been scaled up in the past year. Turkey and Britain have raised concern over China's treatment of Uyghurs and other Muslims at the UN Human Rights Forum. Turkish Foreign Minister has asked Beijing to protect freedom of religion and cultural identity. Britain is the only country which joined Turkey in raising the issue at the annual session of the Human Rights Council. This has thrown a spotlight on, camps in Xinjiang, which activists say hold 1 million Uyghurs who speak a Turkish language. Now, China has denied accusations of mistreatment. India's Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj will be leaving for China. She is going to meet her Chinese counterpart Wang Yi and Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov on February 27th. Ministers are expected to exchange views on the global situation and regional developments of common concern. They will also be addressing global challenges such as terrorism and discuss trilateral exchanges and activities. India's top court is set to hear Ram Mandir Babri Masjid title dispute case. 14 petitions are expected to be heard challenging the Allahabad High Court verdict on distributing the 2.77-acre land in Ayodhya equally among the three parties. A silent protest was held outside Pakistani embassy in Nepal against the Delhi Pulwama terror attack. Members of the civil society held banners and pamphlets condemning the attack. Protesters have called on Pakistan to stop supporting cross-border terrorism and act against perpetrators. The attack has been widely condemned by the international community. The first Arab League and European Union summit drew to a close on Monday. The President of the European Council, Donald Tusk, and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said that the summit had been a success. Tusk also announced that a second summit will be taking place in Brussels in 2022. A two-day summit in Egypt's Sharm el-Sheikh was aimed at boosting cooperation between the two regions on shared strategic priorities. British Prime Minister Theresa May has insisted that a delay in Brexit is not the way to solve the impasse in the Parliament. She said that a timely Brexit was within, in fact, their grasp. She also insisted that Brexit should happen as planned on March 29. Her comments came after the opposition Labour Party said that it would support a second referendum. Theresa May also met European leaders at EU-Arab Summit in Egypt to push for her deal. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad met the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, in Tehran. This was his first visit to ally Iran since the start of the Syrian war in 2011. Syrian and Iranian state television released footage of the leaders meeting. Syrian TV said the two leaders agreed to continue cooperation at all levels for the interests of the nation. Iranian state media said that Khamenei praised Assad as a hero for strengthening the alliance between Iran, Syria and Hezbollah. Elections in Moldova have resulted in a hung parliament. The vote was split between pro-Western and pro-Russian forces. The country went to polls on Sunday and it has now set for coalition talks of fresh elections. The opposition Socialist emerged as the largest party with 35 out of 101 seats. The ruling Democratic Party came second with 30 seats. Democratic leader Vladimir Plahotniuc said that he was ready for coalition talks. Sudanese President Omar alBashir has banned unlicensed public gatherings and protests in the country. His statement came after protesters took the streets again, defying a state of emergency. He also announced new regulations on trading foreign currency and gold and banned trading of fuel products. Bashir dissolved the central and state government on Friday. He appointed a new Prime Minister and the first Vice President of the country. Nigeria has come to a standstill. Daily activities have been put on hold as the Nigerians await the results of the presidential elections. Business owners are losing customers as they don't want to spend money until they know the results. Nigeria's Electoral Commission began announcing some results from the country's 36 states. However, the process that will take hours or even days. Amazon.com has named former Pepsi Chief Executive Officer Indra Nooyi as a director of the company. Has been appointed her to the audit committee of the board. The Indian American served as CEO of Pepsi from October 2006 to October 2018. Number of Russians who watched President Vladimir Putin's annual address last week slipped to its lowest level since 2013. Only 6.3% of Russians watched his televised address. This is according to nationwide data from a market research firm. This comes as opinion polls have found a dip in Putin's popularity ratings. His ratings have gone down since they raised the retirement age and hiked sales tax. However, the Kremlin has linked the dip in viewership to the rising use of the internet. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle ended their three-day tour by meeting with King Mohammed VI at his private residence in Rabat. They were joined by Crown Prince Molay Hassan. Ahead of the meeting with the king, the royal couple went to a cooking event. They sampled some local cuisine at the event where children were serving the food. They also visited an arts and crafts market where they saw the traditional methods of weaving Moroccan carpets and other handicrafts.
Cook for you next time.
Okay?
Yes.
I hope. The whole family next time.
Yes, you come with your baby in Marrakesh next time. We are waiting for you.